When we wake up, yeah, you know we wanna be. We wanna be the ones who aren't friends with Schmeckel. And we could walk 500 miles and still smell his breath. Celebrate hate. Picture a potato. Welcome to Pitney and Amelia's Bitchin' Boutique.
We may be awful,
But we're right.
I think so. Yeah.
So the thing is, oh my God, you're already laughing. You're already laughing. The thing is that everyone hates somebody.
Oh yes.
I mean, if you don't hate someone, I don't think you've been living right. I don't think you've gotten out in the world and met enough people, because there's plenty of people to hate out there.
Yeah, and we will not talk about the obvious right
No. Motherfucker missed. Can you believe that? Anyway, no,
Yes.
We're not talking about that. But everyone has had, I mean, there's people who, they have abusers, they have, and there's so many horrible people in this world, and everyone has come in contact. Even if it's someone who just really fucked with you like one day, like you had a horrible day because of that person, feel free to hate them. They don't know, and hate is not the negative emotion that people think, that people want to say, that the terminally toxic positivity happiness people want everyone to think that so-called negative emotions, they're just emotions. They're just real reactions to actual things. Don't make up reasons to hate someone. They'll give you reasons.
Yeah, and I've learned too that, if you ignore your quote-unquote negative emotions, you become a repressed asshole, and it comes out in really weird ways.
Right. And,
so yeah.
If anyone has listened to this show for a while, you know that there are some people in this world, one in particular, that we really celebrate our hatred of. And that is the worst person in the world, the newly named Schmeckel, so that we have a shorter way of referring to him. Schmeckel. And, the thing is that we both have the tendency, Pitney more than I do, to do sudden outbursts of that include people's names, and it's going to be hard with him to not just blurt his name out on occasion. So I have an idea. So what do you think, Pitney, of if we each say Schmeckel in a very distinctive way, and I use that as a bleep? Should we both say it together, or do we each want to have our own individual Schmeckel?
Oh, that's right, because I'm going to say the name.
Of course you are. So what if we both go like 1, 2, 3 Schmeckel?
Oh, I think that's a fabulous
And then I can just keep a little clip of Schmeckel, and just every time one of us accidentally says his name, we'll just go Schmeckel over the top of it.
Yeah.
It's like a custom bleep just for this episode.
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
I mean, we have no reason to bleep any other, any other names, but.
Okay, fabulous. Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to count?
I want you to count.
Okay.
Count.
1, 2, 3.
Schmeckel! Perfect. So every time one of us accidentally blurts out that motherfucker's name.
And that could be the title, maybe. Schmeckel. Picture a potato.
Maybe the graphic will be a picture of a potato. A hairy potato.
Picture a potato.
A potato with the word Schmeckel written on it. Oh, I think we have a title. Oh my God.
Oh.
But, you know, it's hard to know where to start. So let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start, as Julie Andrews would say.
You know, he was a fabulous person to meet when we met him because we met him at the fabulous The Crossing bar in
favorite
Austin.
bar ever. The best bar in the world.
And
the diviest shithole
he
of the
had
bar.
to have been wearing a Kiss shirt. Or we
oh,
wouldn't
totally.
have talked to
And
him.
you probably were too.
I probably was too. And that's how we met, was through Kiss fandom.
Right. And this is back before they put their makeup back on. This is back when, if you saw a person in a Kiss shirt, this was like, Target wasn't selling Kiss shirts. You know, this was like, if you had a Kiss shirt, it probably was something that some fan made somewhere, or it was really old.
Oh, yeah, because it was definitely, Kiss fandom was very niche back then.
Yeah.
Niche back then.
This was like after Revenge, after they put out Revenge, but that was a non-makeup album. And then there was like this period of, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And there were like, you know, this small ragtag group of Kiss fans scattered all over the world.
Yeah, and I do remember because we started talking to him about Kiss, and he said he had a bunch of bootleg VHS concerts.
Which neither of us had ever had access to anything like that.
Yeah, because you couldn't find that shit back then. I mean, now it's all over. It's on YouTube.
Well, they started because...
Yeah.
And the thing about bootleg Kiss stuff is that they were so obsessed with making sure their shows were good that they professionally had every concert they ever did filmed.
There's pro shots.
Which is why there's so
tour.
much shit out there.
Almost every tour.
And every so often someone would bootleg that shit.
There's no good pro shots. There's no good pro shots of the Dynasty tour.
Oh, that makes me sad.
It's only crappy. But I want to see Peter Criss having a team.
Yeah, maybe they destroyed all the ones where Peter... Because we don't get to actually see the info... We don't get to see Ace electrocuted.
Yeah.
We don't get to actually see that when he was electrocuted coming down the stairs.
I want to see Peter Criss being pissed off and strung up on coke and purposely making the tempo of the songs really fast to make the band keep up. I want to see that, but it doesn't exist. Or at least Kiss...
Right.
Has never released it, and there's no bootlegs. But anyways,
yes.
Schmeckel had all these VHS bootlegs, and we were like, oh my god, we totally need to be friends with this person, just so we can
because
go
at
watch
that time,
his videos.
I think we were already making our costumes, because I was still going over and watching all the bootleg videos. That was really... my first, like, real introduction to them on stage. Like, we had seen, like, you had found, like, I guess it was Kiss Exposed or, like, Kiss Extreme.
Yeah, I had Kiss Exposed.
And, like, some of the, like, the VHS, because Kiss Extreme had just come out.
No, Kiss Exposed.
And there was, like, some concert clips and stuff in those. Yeah. But it wasn't the same as, like, seeing a whole concert. And I had very limited knowledge of what they were really like. And we were in the middle of making Gene and Paul costumes, and at that point, when we started working on the Gene costume for me, it was going to be 100% ironic. Like, I wasn't really a fan yet, but Schmeckel had all this stuff that we spent so many nights at his apartment just watching video after video after video. And I totally turned not only into a Kiss fan, but a Gene fan. I was totally...
yeah, I know.
Totally into Gene. But anyway, back to Schmeckel. So we really liked him. And having that in common with somebody...
fun,
and he seemed, you know... he seemed fun. And he was really just, you know, like a weirdo who dressed like he didn't give a shit, and
I loved him at the time because he was
just
so fucking freaky. And
he was such a fucking outrageous freak, and
I loved it at the time.
You know, like when you're dating someone and all the things that are so charming and wonderful about them at first become the things you fucking hate about them later that just make you want to barf.
Yeah,
totally our experience with Schmeckel.
Oh, yeah, and it was, afterwards, after we really got to know who he was.
Oh, and it took a really long time.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden we couldn't help but...
And and...
mock his questionable
his stupid fucking hair and his stupid fucking tattoos around his crotch area. That he had to hide his tattoos from his parents.
Oh,
I really never needed to see his fupa and that fucking fish tattoo, that fucking piranha tattoo or whatever he had in his hair, in his hairy fupa area. Do you remember?
Of course, you remember the endless black and white striped
the leggings, yeah,
tights.
He called them his B-girl leggings.
Yes. Were they did they go all the way down, or were they full leggings, or were they just
They may have been capri. But they were disgusting, and he wore them with you wear ripped up shorts over them, or he would put he would wear shorts and the leggings, but then over the leggings would be ripped up fishnets with holes in them.
Oh yeah. Which is kind of fabulous old school goth. That's
and he had a black leather jacket that he painted. Whose logo was that on the back? Was it Social Distortion?
Oh, God,
it was the skeleton with a boater hat and a cigarette. I feel like it may have been Social Distortion, but it's
I don't know.
Okay, you don't fucking listen to them. You just like their logo. It's stop acting like you don't actually listen to that music.
Oh yeah. But I do remember, what added to our hatred of him in later, after we got to know him. Things like we would go out and he would wear the tights with the strategically
in
placed
the shorts.
rip
oh, God.
in the shorts, and he would pull his junk through the tights to make it hang out of the shorts, because that's gonna get laid.
I'm so bulging that these shorts can't contain me. If we were just saw someone walking down the street like that, we would think it was fabulous.
But because, and I think we thought it was fabulous at the time, but in retrospect, no.
And I think it's worth at this time explaining. For those of you who haven't heard our very first episode, which, if you go back and listen to our very first episode, assuming you can find it, it's, because it sounds terrible. We recorded it in the car. I was yelling the whole time. We didn't know what we were doing. But, because we were recording it in the car, going to and coming back from Frightmare, we have to drive through Waco, and driving through Waco always reminds us of him because of a time we ran into him there. But during that episode we told a story of the way it ended with him, the thing that caused us simultaneously almost individually but more or less simultaneously to reach our limit, that we all realized, and it's beyond just the two of us, it's everyone, because well, we're gonna tell the story, but he did something so bad, and then he went around telling everybody this story as if it was a great story, and aren't I awesome for doing this? And he told everyone this story, and we all went, oh, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Well, my ex at the time was always iffy about him.
Feeling L too. My husband doesn't like him.
But after that, that was the fucking
and y'all will understand why. So, you want to talk about the incident?
Yeah, so we were
you with
Charlie's.
Were you guys with him at the time? I can never quite remember.
When he made the comment? Oh yeah.
So you guys got to kind of experience firsthand, and I just got the call the next day. Okay.
Yeah, no, the comment was to the ex. Yeah. So we were at Charlie's. Me and the ex. And of course we ran into him, and I don't think we went together. Maybe we could have, who knows. But anyway, there was these other people there. Apparently, he knew them. I don't think
Probably
we
not.
did. But when
Yeah, because if you guys did, then you
couple-
would have been there talking to him too. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them looked really, really bad. The other
And this
one,
is in the
you know,
90s. This
normal.
is in like
This was in the 90s.
Like the late
And we
90s.
realized it was because it would have been the first time this guy had come
Yeah.
out forever. And it was because he was dying of
Mm-hmm.
AIDS and he had AIDS.
And not all of you know what
And-
that looks like, but a lot of us unfortunately know just what that looks like.
Oh, it looks bad.
Yeah.
And Schmeckel said to this guy, well, you sure do look like shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the lover was like, you know he has AIDS and he's dying, right? Well, whatever. He still looks like shit. And then, to me and the ex, he said, well, you know, I know he's dying of AIDS, but he was just a slut anyway, and he deserves it.
Yeah. Now, let that sink in, people. So
Yeah.
then, like, the next day, he calls me. And he's going, oh, you know, I was out at the bar last night, and blah, blah, blah. He tells me the story just as it happened, with no, oh my God, he did not say, I did something terrible last night. He didn't say, I'm feeling so guilty, I was really awful to someone, and I feel terrible. No. Well, you know, I ran into this guy, and you know, he looked like shit, and you know, the thing is that, you know, he was a slut and he deserved it. And I don't know what to say. Like, I'm so stunned because this is a friend of mine saying shit like this, and my brain is just like, you got to get off this call because I can't keep talking to him. So I found some reason to get off the call. Well, it turns out, you know, over the next day or two, he made that call to several people.
Oh, yeah, but that was the beginning of his, well, I told him he looked like shit, and he did look like shit. I'm not going to feel guilty about that.
Well, no, he was always that way. Because he believed that as long as... Here's the thing. He believes that when he says things like that, he is telling the truth. And because it's the truth, it is the right thing to say. And he doesn't know the difference between the truth and his fucking opinion. And that there are certain things that it might be truthful that he feels that way, but that doesn't make them facts. It doesn't make it a fact that needs to be said.
But don't express it, yes. Yes.
And, you know, there were things over the years, as we sort of realized after the fact, we did a lot of sort of looking back over the years, and we realized, my God, he was always this way, but we needed something at that level, apparently, to just smack us. And what ended up happening is that several of us went to a Denny's and had a meeting.
We did. We had a meeting about him.
We ate pancakes and had a meeting, and, you know, drank strong coffee and whatever, and just sort of discussed how, oh my God, he's the absolute worst person in the world. He's absolute fucking garbage. Mm-hmm. And none of us is like, we were all like, I can't imagine being around him ever again. Like, I don't ever want to speak to him again. I don't want to see him. I don't want to speak to him.
Oh, I know, because that was just so fucking awful.
The thing was, he was part of the social circle. And so, you know, it's like,
sure was.
when you have a gathering and there's like a certain set of people that are always the first people you call. You know.
Oh, yeah, he was
in that list, even though he wasn't people's best friend or people's favorite person or anything. He was part of that list. And so there had to be like an agreement between everybody that, like, nobody invites him to anything ever again, first of all, because we need to spare the people who are more secondary and tertiary, but also,
yeah.
we had to, we discussed how we were going to end it, because we talked about we could drive over there right now and bang on his door and make him come out in his front yard and just tell him he's an asshole.
And just tell him to eat shit, yeah.
But we talked about, like, there was a lot of variations on how can we do this. And we all agreed there is no point in trying to tell him that he's an asshole, because he 100% believes that he is correct. 100%.
Yeah, and the only thing was to completely ghost him en masse.
Yes, that if all of us said starting right now,
that was the only way.
And this was so long ago that I had my own place, but I was basically staying in my boyfriend, now husband's, apartment most of the time. At his place, he added caller ID to his phone account, because that was not an automatic thing. You had to, because phones didn't have a thing. Most phones didn't have a thing where you saw the number. You had to get a box. You had to attach a box, and it would tell you. And we got caller ID for the purpose of not answering the phone when that asshole called. And it turned out into a thing like, my God, how do we ever live without this?
That's so funny, because it seems so awful and passive aggressive, which it was. But it was fabulous and necessary.
And thank God that caller ID existed, so that we all had the ability now to just not, we could answer the phone for other people, but we could just not answer the phone for him.
Yes. We got caller ID just to ghost Schmeckel.
Fucking Schmeckel. And the weird thing is, I still remember his phone number. I could call it right now if I wanted to.
Oh, God, I don't.
I do.
Ooh, let's call him. We'll do an interview.
Oh, my God. I did kind of. There was a time when I had kind of had a fantasy of figuring out a way to have of recording a call with him. Like, but would my name come up on his phone? I don't know how cell phones work. Like, it's like if someone's not, because if I'm not in his contacts.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Later. Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Then, but we did have a couple of friends who refused to give up on him, and we just kind of started limiting how much time we spent with them. We wouldn't go to their house. You do know who. Yes, because of reasons. So it kind of meant that we stopped going to see them. We could invite them, or you could. I didn't, because I was too mad. And you had more events, and we'll talk about one of those events later. But that they were there, and we were publicly.
Yes.
We were publicly hating Schmeckel at that event, and they just had to be there to experience. But we'll get to that. But yeah, so we, it was so wonderful to just never ever thinking we were never going to see him again. And then one day we're driving to a con. It wasn't Frightmare yet. It was Uncommon Con. Was it not?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was. I don't remember.
I think it was. Yeah, it was Uncommon Con because they had a website that had a forum on it, and he was posting there. That's how I got the picture of him with the costume. Anyway, we're getting there. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, and remember I got to tell you the story of where I made the fabulous Steve call him in the hotel room at Dragon Con.
Oh no! Oh, that's right. You guys did spot him. Oh my God. Okay, but so Waco. So because we would drive to Dallas. Pitney's laughing so hard, you guys. He's just like having to suppress.
Oh,
see,
God.
look at all this joy. Look at all the joy we have. So we're driving to a con, as we always did, going up I-35, going to Dallas, which takes you through Waco, which takes you past a particular Denny's, which we love to stop at our particular Denny's.
Yes.
And we, you and me and Feely and Elle walk into a Denny's in Waco, and as we're being seated at our table, who is on the other side of the room sitting alone at a table? But fucking Schmeckel, the worst person in the world.
Oh my God, there he is.
Oh my God. And it's too late. He's seen us. So he comes over to say hi. And I don't know about you, but I was amazed that he was acting as though it wasn't weird that we hadn't seen each other for such a long time.
Yeah.
That he wasn't being a shit.
I remember being polite and just being, oh, hi.
We all were polite. We were not going to
we were
not going to create a scene in the Denny's. If anyone would have, it would have been him, but he did not. But he did. Oh, he did kind of comment like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? And for some reason, I don't know why Feely and Elle and I decided to tell him that we had just gotten married.
That's fine.
Oh, well, we got married a couple months ago or whatever. And he was like, oh, are you telling people? Because he was acting like the reason he didn't know is because it was a big fucking secret.
Oh, I know.
Or why he wasn't invited or whatever. And it's like he wanted to tell the couple that was still friends with him. His only friends in the world, apparently. And so, we're like, no, sure, you can...
And I remember it was a big thing because he was like, well, can I tell me, and me?
It's like
it was a big thing.
Of course.
And you were like, okay, whatever.
Right. Like, he really thought that it was a big secret. And it's like, why would us getting married be a secret? I'm surprised he didn't ask me if I was knocked up or something, because he's so tactless.
He was probably thinking
He was probably. And then, and then at the con, there was all kinds of him thinking he had the right to come over and talk to us. And I would just turn my back. I would literally just rotate and put my back.
That was when I ignored him in Dallas.
Yes, that was when we did a good job ignoring him in Dallas.
Yes.
But yeah, he kept trying, and I was just like, I'm not going to have a conversation with him, and I would just turn my back.
That's right.
But then I don't know when we found out later that he, after seeing us, told the couple that we had limited our exposure to, the ones that refused to break it off with him. He came up with a nice fresh reason, and he claimed that we told him at the con in Dallas see, they had a child, they had a baby.
Yes.
And that child is around because he has a very unusual name, and I looked him up and I saw him on Facebook, and oh my god, it's weird to think that child is an adult now. But they had a kid named Roach, and he told them that the reason that he found out, because he saw us in Dallas, and he found out that the reason why we stopped hanging out with them is because we hated Roach. We hated their child so much that we just didn't want to be around them anymore.
Oh, I remember that, and that is a complete
total fabrication. Yeah, because how could we have had that? How could we have told him that when we were ignoring him in Dallas? Like, which one is it, Schmeckel?
Oh God, I know. I forgot about that. Yes, and
I don't remember how it came back to. Maybe one of them must have asked you. It's like, oh, okay. So like they told Trisha, and Trisha told you, and she was like, she was like, "Fuck no, that's a lie."
And that ended Trisha's long-term friendship with them also.
Right, that's true, because that's how we met them, was through her.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that
she knew them
ended that
forever.
friendship too because of Schmeckel's bullshit. None of us ever said that about that kid.
No.
It was just, you know, but the whole just so people know because it's funny and it's like a 20-second story.
Yeah.
But the whole ignoring him in Dallas was, God, months and months later, I ran into him at Charlie's at the bar, right? And because he
The scene
was
of the crime.
right there. Oh, I'm sorry, I just did that.
Okay.
See, I'm gesticulating.
Yes, he's homosexually gesticulating with his arm.
I was just like, oh, hi, how are you? You know, because he was right fucking there.
Right. It's not a
And
huge
he was
bar.
just
You
like,
can't.
what are you doing
yeah.
talking to me? And I'm like, you're right here, and I'm trying to be polite, and I'm just saying hi because you're right here. And, well, I don't know why you're talking to me, because you sure did do a good job of ignoring me in Dallas. And that will forever live
Yes!
in my fantasy as just a fabulous memory.
And he had no idea that he was giving us one more reason to be joyful.
God damn it.
Because every day without him in our lives, the sun comes up, the birds sing.
Oh, yes.
It's a beautiful day.
And it's one more day to hate Schmeckel.
Oh God. So let's do a little turn. Let's do just some because we've told a lot of stories of him over the years, but we can do some quickies. Kind of like I don't have a lightning round prepared like I did for the Verity episode.
Oh, yeah, no, but yeah.
like little things like we can just sort of ping pong back and forth. Like for example, his car always had a horrible smell. And you'd ride in his car and it was like, what is that smell? Because I can't identify it. Like, it's so vile. But it's like, it's not like someone tracked dog shit into the car. It's not like he smoked. It's not like there was anything like that. But it was like, what the hell am I smelling? And then one day, I was flossing my teeth. And that just reminds me of another story that you're going to tell next, because you know which one I'm. So I am flossing my teeth, and I accidentally get a whiff of my dental floss.
Yeah.
And if anyone's ever had that happen, you know
yes.
how unpleasant
Not a
that
good
is.
thing.
Because no matter how much you brush your teeth, when you're flossing, you are pulling vile shit out of there. But anyway, I suddenly get a sense memory of his car, and I realized that's what his car smells like. It's his breath. His breath is so bad that it has permeated the vinyl, it has permeated the dashboard, it has permeated the carpets and the cloth covering the ceiling, which was falling down, by the way. The interior of his car smelled like gingivitis. It smelled like the worst possible breath you can imagine. That's just a thing. And when I said flossing my teeth, it reminded me of something else about him, and I'm sure you know what I mean. And you should tell that story now.
And I have two related snippets about that. The first one being at a con and sharing a hotel room with him. And, it was like a cheap motel. And so, of course, the vanities and everything are just right there, and then the toilet's in a little room, right? And
right, yeah.
So you could see it. I just remember him brushing his teeth and spitting out just mouthfuls of blood.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, because I saw that a lot when I'd go over to his house when we were getting ready to go out.
And I was like, oh my God.
But and not even reacting to it, like just a vampire vomiting. It was just so much blood.
And I was like, oh my God, the poor motherfucker, But then, one day...
Yeah, that one's not funny. This one's funny.
I was like, that smell... What is that smell? It reminds me of Schmeckel. What is that smell? And you know what it was? Rotten potatoes.
That is not the story I thought you were going to tell.
Okay.
So, should I tell the story that I thought you were going to tell?
Oh, maybe, yes. I was thinking of the rotten potato.
No. So he had roommates, and who the roommates were is not important, because I'm going to get to the meat of this story very quickly. He was just sort of telling a story about his roommates, and he said, now you know. And I'm going to wait, swallow your coffee, dude, because I don't want you spitting all over your keyboard. He said, do you know what my roommates did this morning? They brushed their teeth.
Yes.
And we're like, so, and he's, well, they're just going to eat again later.
I don't know.
That's the whole story,
totally
really.
Spaced out on that.
I cannot believe that did not come into your head immediately. That is, they brushed their teeth.
Oh my God.
So it's a potato with gingivitis.
Yes.
That smells.
I remember that.
That wears a jacket that smells like cat pee.
Oh, I fucking forgot about that.
Yes. I'm so glad to have brought that back to you.
I was just thinking of the potato.
The rotten potato. Oh my God. So let's see. What's another quickie?
Oh God. Naked Mr. Snappy. Well, him getting jealous because you got your nut one night at a con and he didn't.
Yes.
And because he was jealous, he was like, well, you were certainly Mr. Vagina this weekend, weren't you? And he's all jealous because you got it and he didn't.
Oh, I got such a hot little piece of ass that weekend. And the Mr. Vagina, he said it at a gas station. Like we were
remember that.
We were getting ready to come home from the con and we're gassing up the car to drive home.
Yep.
And he's standing there with his Mr. Vagina.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever been prouder to be called anything.
I know, because he was jealous, but that was the night, and this is this is a long story, but this is all that matters of the story.
Oh, yes.
The guy that he hooked up with apparently was into kink, and he was not. And the guy wanted, anyway, so...
Well, all you have to really say is what he said, what he told us.
All we heard about was, well, did I tell you last night? That guy wanted me to pee on him. Can you believe it? And I just couldn't because I didn't have to go. And I'm not going to feel bad about that.
I'm not feeling bad about that because I didn't have to go.
But at least 20 times during that day.
Oh, God.
Can you believe it? He wanted me to pee on him.
And I know that some of you are listening and you're thinking, I've heard that before. Like, maybe not in the context of us actually telling the story, but you've probably heard... Every time something comes up about not that we talk about piss play all the time, but for fuck's sake, anything like that, we can't not say, I'm not going to feel guilty about that, because I didn't have to go.
That is ingrained in my brain, and on my deathbed, I will think about it, and it will make me laugh.
Oh God! I
just didn't have to go.
I'm not gonna feel guilty about that. Why should I feel guilty about that? Oh my God!
Okay, my deathbed, girl, it will make me happy to think about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Listen up, true crime fans. I have a podcast that you won't want to miss. A heartfelt show that focuses on lesser-known crimes from around the globe called Our True Crime Podcast.
All right, buckle up, I guess. We have to put our seatbelts on. We gotta go.
Every week, hosts Jen and Cam will guide you through a new case backed up by meticulous research and delivered with the utmost respect for victims and survivors. Cases like the fatal exorcism of Joan Vollmer.
Yes, eyes can turn red and appear to glow from increased adrenaline and blood flow.
I did not know that.
And the Haynes family massacre.
I'm almost afraid to hear it.
As a parent, I don't even know. I don't know.
You'll not only learn about the cases, you'll feel like you're part of a conversation with witty, lifelong friends. That's what truly makes this our true crime podcast. So, whether you're a true crime aficionado,
I thought you might say that. I was hoping anyway.
Or a casual listener,
that's a baseball team, Jen, if you didn't know.
Oh, I figured it was some kind of sports ball thing.
sit down and join us for our true crime podcast. Listen on your favorite podcast apps today.
It's a Sunday. I'm sitting in a dark, dark room talking to my best buddy about
Crime.
That's right.
This could be our longest episode ever if we just let this shit go. But the truth is that obviously, we have so much enjoyment that we get, the joy in our lives that comes from hating him and not having him around anymore. And sometimes our joy manifests in creative projects.
Oh, yes, it does.
Like, for example,
Yes.
there was a time before Bitchin' Boutique was a podcast. We fantasized about learning how to make a website, which we never did that part.
Yeah.
But I was creating artwork. We had all kinds of plans, and there was a thing that kind of came up, and we ended up actually they don't exist anymore. I have looked. I cannot find it, so I don't think anyone else can. Of course, if someone else could find it, please help me find it.
Yeah.
But we came up with, in the days of Yahoo. What's wrong with me today? Yahoo groups and Yahoo clubs. I liked clubs better,
Yeah.
but they were more than just like mailing lists that you could create. You could create like a little mini thing that had like a photo gallery, and and we created one called Haters of Schmeckel.
Yes, we did.
But it was his real name. Haters of just his last name.
And I remember,
Haters of Schmeck.
Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to share stories about blah, blah, blah? Well, join us.
Well, join us. And, I went through a period where every time I saw someone that reminded me of him, even just a little bit, I would get a picture of them and we had a Schmeckel-alike section where I had a picture of like Vern Troyer. I had a picture of this guy on Suits, that show Suits. He's like the Weasley kind of buck-toothed lawyer who's like a side character. I don't know anyone's names. There was the comedian Dave Attell. I feel bad because I love him, but he there were times when he looked like him. And then, a picture of a potato.
Oh, yeah.
Because nothing looks more like him than a potato.
No.
Except a potato that's sprouting hair.
Yeah, I was just going to say, picture a potato.
A hairy potato.
Roll it in glue. Roll it in shaved pubes. And put toothpicks for arms and legs. And there you have Schmeckel.
Yeah. And give it halitosis.
But I forgot that. But then, for that party, we had a party.
Yes.
And we worked really hard on that slideshow. And I wish I still fucking had the negatives of the slides. But I
Oh, God,
don't.
I know.
It's heartbreaking. Anyway, I have all the fictitious universe that I write in, right?
Yes.
And I had written a story that was for, was it for Halloween specific? Yeah, I guess it was, wasn't it?
It was. In fact, we did a dramatic reading of that story for a special episode
that's
once.
right.
I am looking it up to get the exact title so that y'all can.
Yes, we did. Oh, it was
because there was a
fabulous.
character based on him.
Yeah, so Latrino, the King of Filth,
Yes.
in the story was based on Schmeckel.
Yes.
And we did this slideshow, all these fabulous. Remember, we made little miniature dioramas of sets,
like little flat pictures
and
that had
places.
three-dimensional elements to them, so that they looked sort of three-dimensional. Okay, it was Marcus and Mona's Halloween Adventure was the name of the episode.
Yeah.
October 11th, 2018.
God. And it was fabulous. Y'all listen to it.
I may link it in the show notes.
But we have these fabulous dioramas that we had a friend take slides of, and we had a slideshow while we were performing
dramatic readings of this story.
Piece.
Yes.
And in the slideshow, the character of Latrino
had
his head.
Yes.
Because I had taken a picture of him. Yeah, and photocopied it, and then so it wasn't really a picture of him.
We had pictures that we
them.
Scanned them, and then I took them and kind of made them like change. Like we had ones with his mouth open, we had ones with him mad with his mouth open, like he was yelling. We had different facial expressions, and it was so fucking funny, you guys.
Oh my God. And anybody that knew him knew exactly what it was, of course, because it was from a picture of him.
And the way I would draw his body, the body of Latrino, I mean, Latrino even did his stupid little crab dance.
Yes, it was feeling the crab dance. The crab.
It's hard to explain. The crab dance, you have to see it, but yeah. Oh, God. The rotating of the wrists. The side-by-side step movement.
You know, and Yimmy were there, the couple that we talked about earlier that still kept in touch with him. And you know what? Neither of them said a fucking word about it, but you know that they knew.
Right. And you know what I'm realizing?
Watching the show, they knew.
I think I'm realizing, I think she was pregnant with that kid. So we had stopped talking to him before that kid was born. And we stayed friends with them, like, tangentially, but we stayed friends with them for a little while until it just became too much. You know.
But it was the end of them talking to us and the end of Trish's friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when he lied to them.
But she did say that, but yeah. It's all so long ago, but anyway.
Oh, I know.
Oh, my God. But I remember going to their house. And, you know, I hadn't seen them in a long time, and I don't remember what I was there for. But they're, how are you, and blah, 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 blah. And I told the wife, and this is the beginning of my little, how I came up with my little song. It was the first time I ever said this.
Oh, God.
And she's like, how are you? You know what's going on? I said, oh, I am so happy. I just wake up full of joy every day, and I'm so happy. And she's like, oh, that's great. Why? And I was like, every day I wake up, and it's one more day to hate him.
Yep.
And I remember she was just like, oh, well, well, I don't know.
Oh, my God.
And love it. I love it.
And one thing that almost happened but never really did, and we talk about it and laugh a lot, because when we made all those little heads, because I would have like documents on my computer that would have multiple heads of his, like I would like copy and paste and then change an element and then paste another one and change that part. So we had all these different things, like a sheet of like a dozen little black and white heads of his. And it kind of reminded us of like a sheet of stickers. And we started fantasizing about making stickers, making little like signs, like a sign on a stick.
Yeah, because I wanted big Schmeckel heads on sticks to go put in people's yards just totally randomly in the middle of the night.
Right.
But like around his neighborhood so he would see it. So he
like if you like would go over there and just put a plastic flamingo in someone's yard, but you could go put his stupid, because he's still, we could do it now for fuck's sake, but we could just go down his street in the middle. Everyone has Ring cameras now. I'd have to be.
Oh, I know.
Totally
I know. Looking back on it, I know it's terrible, and it would have been considered harassment and blah 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 blah. But it's really fucking funny.
But it's funny. And what my part of it was that I wanted to make sheets of I wanted to get like vinyl stickers printed, like good quality stickers. Like not a lot, but in Austin, there's so many bands, and there's just, telephone poles and light posts at intersections and stuff are just covered in like band flyers and stickers and things. And sometimes you just see these weird, odd things that you have no idea what they are, but it's just amusing because it's like, why is there a picture of Mickey Mouse, but he looks like he's smoking a joint or whatever? Like, I don't know. You know, somebody did that and stuck that there. So I wanted to get stickers of his stupid head and just paste them in random places around the city, because at some point he would be sitting at an intersection.
Oh, yeah.
And he might glance over and go, is that me? Or any of us? Because if anyone that we know who hates him was sitting at a stoplight and looked over at the pole and saw his face,
oh my God,
it would be the funniest goddamn thing. It would make people's days. And then other people would just be wondering who the fuck he was.
And it would have been, but we could have started a local phenomenon, but we also could have gotten sued. It was funny to think of.
You know, it's like, how can we do it without being sued? Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, we own the picture. I don't own I don't own his likeness, but I own the picture. I took it.
Oh, God.
You know, at that fucking con when he had that weird, he looked like he had the Van Halen logo drawn on his forehead for no goddamn reason.
Right.
He was just drawing a design and it looked just like the Van Halen logo. So stupid. But yeah, that motherfucker.
Bless his heart.
Just piece of shit. But here's the thing. So just, you know, keep in mind, if you have extreme hatred for someone, just like seething hatred, find a way to turn it into joyful hatred.
Yes, because it is a thing.
Joyful hatred is so much fun to have. And if you could just, you could just be sitting somewhere, see a random object, and it just reminds you of that person, and you could just start laughing to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, make up a name for them. Make up a stupid nickname. And just be like, you know, what are you laughing about? Schmeckel. You know.
I know.
It's awesome. Life is more awesome when you have someone to hate.
Yes, and I think of the classic Wayne Newton song, everybody hates somebody sometimes. Everybody falls in hate somehow.
Oh my God.
Which I know is probably, people know it probably as a Sinatra song, but it's really a Newton song.
I don't know. I kind of think of it as a Dean Martin song, but it's all the same. It's all the same.
But it's all Wayne. It's all Wayne.
It's all Wayne. Schmeckel. Schmeckel. Do, 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 do.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoy our show, please take a moment to rate and review us wherever you listen.
If you send us a screenshot of your review, we'll send you a Bitchin' Boutique sticker. Everyone loves stickers.
Please subscribe or add us to your favorites wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribers get new episodes first and are also more attractive.
Drop us a line anytime at PitneyAndAmelia@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you.